Did you play Guess What That Box Was? Probably not, because I didn't say anything before I put it up there. But we're going to talk about the Gallerist, a Vital Lacerda game. I played the solo version, or the variant. I can't remember if I played 3 or 4 games of this particular game. And I wrestled with what to score this. It was it's very enjoyable to play. It's so easy to run the AI where you just move. Lacerda's piece just moves from one section to another, and I'm not gonna give you my whole playthrough, but I'll have some of the bits and pieces of the play running through the video here. I'll try to move my head over so I can fit a little deal up in the corner, and you can kind of see some of the bits and pieces of the game. But very enjoyable. The artwork of this is, of course, fantastic because it's Ian O'Toole, and all of his art is amazing. So I put the setup for this game, I gave it a 3.5. It really isn't that hard, and part of the reason I think it's not that hard is because the components are so good, and I'm assuming every box is the same. I forget what the publisher is. This is Eagle Griffin. This is a game that feels like a deluxe game. It just feels that way. Every cardboard piece is real thick. It's real weighty. It's well done. I can't fault it, and it makes setup a little bit easier than it would otherwise be if it was not quite as high quality. There's quite a few things to shuffle and put on the board, but the box is really well designed as well, so you can pull things out of the box and put them up. And if you play a lot of games and you get used to the idea of, like, how do I put my games back into the box in such a way that I can pull them out, that's kind of what I've done with this game, is I put it in the box in such a way I can pull it out pretty fast and set it up on the board. The reset's not too bad. So I gave it a 3.5, partly because the game itself is, I think, worth the setup. The challenge is, I struggled on the challenge. I ended up giving this a 4.75 on the challenge. That's a high score. I think after playing 3 or 4 times that I was wondering, is it even possible to get 3 masterpieces? But I think maybe it is, and I'm just need to keep working at it. So this is a game that I really want to get back out on the table and try to get all those metrics that you have to get the highest level for the solo. And so a very challenging game. The experience of it, I gave it 3.75. Good, enjoyable to play. There's something about the AI where Lacerda's just taking his turn, and so it's just a game where you're competing against your high score to some degree, except everything's translated to money, so it's not like you get like a high score. You're more or less trying to get various components of the game to work out in your favor, which was good. There was something about that I felt was lacking, and I kind of wished it was an opponent I could play against a little bit more, or that it felt a little bit more like an opponent. The 3.75 is probably questionable. I'd be really curious if folks have comments who have played the solo variant, what you would say. Maybe some people played this and thought this is the fantastic solo variant, it's a perfect solo variant. There was a lot of difficulty scoring this one and trying to figure out, how do I really feel about this game overall as a solo experience. I did give it overall a 3.93. It falls just, it's really on the higher end. I think Teotihuacan might be the highest one I have on here, and I don't think anything has scored higher than that, so this might have been my best solo experience thus far from the rating I have here. I'll have to look on my main board where sometimes I write them on my 3x5 card here, and then I tweak it once I've actually put them into the video. But yeah, this is a great game. I think I was given this. I think I got gifted this for Christmas one year, last year probably. And this is among my favorite games overall. So I could have some bias in it. I really like the gameplay with others. I am very much looking forward to getting that to the table as a multiplayer experience. But as a solo experience, I would say it is compelling. And it offers something that feels a little different than some of the other solo experiences I've walked through. And it does present a compelling challenge. And I think what's really different and sets it apart is that you're trying to get different elements of the game to fall into place in addition to some points. And really, if you're in the first or second tier, is the only two tiers that you really worry about the money. If you're going for the 3 masterpieces and really trying to get that masterpiece track, that third tier on the solo experience, the money doesn't even count. It's so I would love to see your comments if you're watching this and you've played some of these games and you're like, no, I played the solo on this one. This is why I would rate this differently. I would love to have some community feedback, take that into consideration, and which of those scores would you equally have them equally kind of yoked together where they have the same amount of weight, or would you weigh them differently, and which one would you weigh more in the course of measuring a gameplay experience? So sorry it's a little long, but hopefully helpful, and give it a like if you like it, and feel free to visit my Patreon page if you are interested in seeing a lot more of this content. Then I enjoy making it and would love to do it more when I am able. So have a great day from Unraveled Game Thoughts.